Hi, it's Nat. It is now 11:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, December 1st, 2014. Um, Today I have a topic that I actually wanted to write since yesterday, but I don't have the time. I didn't have the time. And the title is called Justin Going to Church. Seems like Satan did not deceive me after all, and the importance of prayer for Monday, December 1st. The reason that I want to write about this is because, one, Justin has been telling me that he went to church again this past Sunday, and he went to church Sunday prior. And it's kind of interesting that Justin and I are starting up church at the same time, And another fun fact that I thought is cool or funny, interesting, is that Matthew went to jail 2 weeks prior to me getting arrested on November 4th and go to jail for 7 days, right? And then Justin got arrested for DWI a week later, I think. I have to ask him what date it was, but it's funny how we were all like something changed, Especially I think for me and Justin, because Justin I guess decided to go to church more after the DWI, right? And but the reason I want to write is that when I first met Justin, I would say he was still like kind of I wouldn't say maybe like act a little bit more childish than he is now. I mean, I know we're all growing up, and like Justin and I fought right away, right? But I always like had this feeling inside of me that there is like something about him that is so like different, like that he is supposed to be like a part of my life, and he has been. And I've gone through so much learning and changes this year with him that I just know like I would not have been able to without him, and I would say that like Justin is conflicted maybe in terms of like where he falls, because before he was like a very dark person. Like if you were to I would say if you were to ask him what side he's on, he would probably, I shouldn't say this, sorry, put words in his mouth. I don't know what sides it would be, so I just say it that way. But he always said like he was more, we don't know what our side, but I would say that he is more of like from the dark realm, right? Not saying that I don't know, I may have been from the dark realm at some point, but he was definitely like he has such like which I found out later when we did an energy thing, like he has this inner demon that is just like so filled with hate and maybe loneliness and like just like this bad kid that just want to destroy everything, like chaos, and I feel that like since he's been a part of my life, I've been trying to guide him toward God and toward light and love, and over the years we have many discussion, and he has obviously resisted along the way. But it was kind of funny when he started telling me a story that he's told me not to share with anyone, but I'm going to share because I think it's sweet. It happened to him in 2013. I was in Austin then, and he was up in North Carolina. Or maybe I was still in rehab and he was up in North Carolina. But he told me that one night he was feeling like down and depressed and just lonely and just like lost and stuff, and he just like pray to God for like some signs, you know. And then I don't know exactly how he told me, but he said like God guided him like to this one church that was opening at night and he just like went in and prayed. Like that was his like one of his defining moment with God, right? And you know, like to me, like, and like to me, like Justin is like to me he's like an enlightened person, you know, in many ways, and is wise, and he has a lot more information regarding the other side than I do, which he has helped me along the way, you know, when he feel like sharing, or at least when his higher self feels like sharing with me. And I would say like, you know, he to me he is my like cosmic brother, but there are times when I feel like he is my enemy. You know, but I mean I know that you know, like these past several years when I try to understand like the differences between the dark and the light, and what it means to like what it means for me as a person, as a spirit being that I'm here, like how do I handle the dark and the light when it seemed to me that it's not like you cannot define them easily, you know, because then if you define them, then you are still stuck in duality, and we don't want to be in duality because duality is in third dimension, right? And we want to ascend ourselves above and beyond duality, like to be, I mean like, you still realize that duality exists, but not to be confined within the duality way of perspective, right? So that's been something that I'm trying to understand in terms of like light and duality. I mean, in the dark, you know. And I feel like Justin is that person for me throughout the year, because he is like my yin, my yang, you know, my yin to my yang to my yin, you know, when it comes to the light and the dark, so that we can see the entire thing in a more constructive way instead of just being judgmental, you know. Like he reminded me earlier when we were having phone conversation that, you know, like he reminded me, you know, Satan was an angel, he is a fallen angel, and like how do I know that all these entities that I have interacted with and have seen are not really angels? Like how do I know they are demons? It's like just because they look like demons to me, that doesn't mean they are, because I still don't know, you know, I don't understand what they look like. How do I know what they look like, really, you know? You know, and just like stuff like that, you know. And I guess the one thing that has happened this year is that like Justin and I have been like fighting a lot. I mean, I know that there is a higher purpose to all of that journey and to everything, but at the same time it was so painful, right? Like, but I just, for some reason I just couldn't, like my journey just does not allow me to break my journey from him, you know? And in September, I was kind of like have had it with Justin bullshit, basically, you know? And I just don't know how to handle someone who just had so much hate toward me at times. Like, I just know that he just doesn't understand, or, you know, like he's conflicted within himself, I know that. But it was just like so much that I just couldn't handle. I just like, you know, I was starting to be like, oh, fuck you too. And then I found out that the full moon, when I saw it for 5 days in September, that from Matt, that not my Matthew, from Matt or R, that it was called a harvest moon apparently. Anyway, interesting. That's when I, you know, met Satan again. Anyway, basically that one Wednesday night when Satan metaphysically crossed over, maybe. I don't know how it works, but I know that I was in some kind of a crossover dimension with Justin that week. I know that because just Satan told me so. And but the one thing that he told me then, wow, Justin just basically like left me, right? Like he just like basically left me in that room with Satan when he saw like shit was happening. Like, well, thanks a lot. That's a really good friend, Justin. Right? And even when like Satan told me to call him back into the room, he just wouldn't, It's so weird. But anyway, Satan told me that like that Justin is like stubborn and won't listen to him. And I say, well, I can see that, And he said that there will comes a time, something like he's stuck something, like stuck somewhere, like maybe he's a part of his spirit stuck somewhere, like cross over dimension or something, I don't know, and like I was being shown a part of it or something, I don't get it. But then Satan told me that there will come a day when Justin will need my help and my guidance to get him out of it. And for me to not like basically cut off the bridge, not to shut him off. Because I was about to, because I told Satan that night, like, I've had it, like, it's not my job. I told Satan it's not my responsibility. But Satan told me that, that I need to be as loving as possible to Justin and to wait patiently for Justin to be ready and to open up and ask for guidance and for me to be there to help him out of it somehow. And I just kind of feel like this is happening, like I feel like it's happening because, which goes back to like importance of prayer, because I pray for Justin every day to find love and peace and happiness and for him to be guided, back to the light, in a way. And I just feel like it's happening because, like, talking to Justin on the phone now, he has so much more like love conversation with me, like, or like just like not attack me, like how he used to, just being more emotionally stable, and also finally like doing some soul searching, just go back, like exactly what our, like when I gave him an energy and crystal energy chakra balancing whatever for him, and that was the theme of the message too, was that he's going through like a spiritual like awakening process of his own. And it's just why it's funny how it's like how it takes a while for all this to happen, but like once it actually happens, it seems like a miracle. It's just feeling like, wow, it's a miracle, like a miracle is happening, like the prayer works, and Satan is not a deceiver, like what the teachings say, which just make me more confused who Satan really is. Or if he really is Satan that talked to me. But he told me he is, so I don't know. Anyway, I told Justin that, he wants to read a book. So I told Justin that I would get him a book called The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. Because that book is very good. It has helped me. When I read that book for the first time, was introduced to me by Kimberly Morris. Thank you. I think she's with God now. Like the guy wrote this book in a novel format, but the topic it's like God, about metaphysical, and like seeing all the signs and stuff like that, and meaning the flow of like all these things that God put in our places, right? But when I read that book, I was like, holy shit, this, because like at the time I was disconnected from a lot of the spirituality world, from like metaphysical world. Like I was in within myself, you know, like trying to understand God within like on my own, maybe, I don't know. But like when I read that book, because like growing up I can never talk about this stuff to people because nobody understand what the hell I'm talking about, you know. Growing up it's like when I talk about weird shit, people just like, what? Or like just telling me it's all in my head, you know. Or don't just straight up don't get it. But when I read this book and the guy talks about like following the signs and having faith and like just know, just having this inner knowing, I was like, holy shit, there's somebody else out there that has similar experiences about God, you know. Because like people don't believe in God, right? I mean, I know, I mean now I don't say that I believe in God and I say I know God, you know. There's a difference, right? But like this guy straight up talk about what I experienced, the things I tell to people, how I live my life, you know. When I tell people how I live my life, and like, you know, because like people don't get how I manage my life, I say through faith in God, you know. And people don't get that. So, but when like this guy put it in a book for me, I was like, oh my God, somebody else out there see the same thing I do. And it was like an affirmation for me. And it's so like some of the things he wrote about like energy, and especially the past generation, like he already figured out how to resolve some of them. So that has helped me a lot because I didn't know the solutions. Like I know the problem, I just didn't know the solution. And his solutions work, you know. So anyway, I'm gonna get that book for Justin because I feel like he's ready for it. And again, just I guess thank God. And I told Justin that oh, he said that he can't read my blog at the library that he's at because the library blocked my blog. It's like, what, you know? But I told him that, you know, if the message is right about the next what will happen in 5 years or whatever will happen, I just told him that I want all of my brothers and sisters to be ready with me. Anyway, this is Nattawat, Apibal. Making a time capsule on YouTube.